I moved into the building in late October. It was a modest, red brick complex built in the 70s, with paper-thin walls, creaky floorboards, and a strange smell in the hallway that oscillated between mildew and burnt plastic. But the rent was cheap, the neighbors were quiet, and I needed a place fast. After the breakup, I couldn't handle staying in the same city as my ex. So I took the first listing that didn't feel like a total scam. Unit 5C. Third floor. Overlooking the back alley, not the street. My new kingdom of solitude. The landlord, Mr. Clayton, was a pale, thin man who always looked like he was chewing on something invisible. He handed me the keys and mumbled a warning I didn't catch at the time. Upstairs is locked. Been that way for years. I didn't ask. I figured it was some maintenance thing or maybe storage. The first few nights were uneventful. I unpacked, set up my desk near the window, and started working remotely during the day. The nights were quiet. Dead quiet, in fact. Not even the sound of cars outside, just the occasional flickering of the hallway light under my door. But then came the scratching. At first, I thought it was a mouse. It sounded faint, like something brushing against the ceiling right above my bed. I knocked on the plaster out of habit, but of course, no one knocked back. That same night, around 2:12 a.m., I heard something heavier. Footsteps. Not stomping, not walking. More like pacing. A slow, deliberate dragging of feet across the floor above me. I sat up, heart pounding, staring at my ceiling fan, which trembled slightly with each creak from above. But no one lived in the unit above me. Clayton had said so. It had been empty for years. The next morning, I climbed up to the 4th floor. Apartment 6C. The one directly above mine. The door was sealed. Not just locked, sealed. A rusted chain wrapped around the knob, looped through the handle, and padlocked. A yellowing strip of duct tape ran across the door frame. Faded letters written in sharper red. Do not open April 19, 2011. 14 years ago. My fingers brushed the lock, just to be sure I wasn't imagining it. That's when I heard it. A whisper. Right behind the door. Low and breathy. Not words. Not quite human. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in my desk chair, staring up at the ceiling, waiting for the sound to return. Around 2:15, it did. The pacing. But this time it wasn't just above me. It moved from the ceiling toward the wall. Then it circled to the other side. Always slow, dragging. Like someone testing the perimeter of the apartment. Then a knock. Right above my head. Not loud. Just once. But deliberate. I didn't dare move. I just watched as the ceiling fan rotated slowly, casting warping shadows along the cracked paint. Then silence. Complete, suffocating silence. Until I checked my phone. There was a voicemail. No missed call. Just a voicemail. From my number. I pressed play. Static. Then a breath. Then my voice, distorted and low. Don't knock back. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The voicemail, my own voice warning me not to knock back, kept playing in my head on a loop. I tried to convince myself it was some kind of prank. An audio glitch. An old recording. But how could it be? I'd never recorded those words. Not once. Not like that. And the footsteps, they were real. By morning, I had dark circles under my eyes and a growing itch behind my brain like I was missing something obvious. I called Clayton, the landlord, and tried to act casual. Hey, weird question. What's the deal with the apartment above me? 6C. Long pause. Then a cough. That one's been sealed off since before I bought the building. Some mold issue. Unsafe. That can't be right, I said, forcing a laugh. I swear I heard someone walking up there last night. Another long silence. Then, you didn't knock back, did you? My blood ran cold. No, I lied. He hung up. That afternoon, I brought home a stepladder and pressed my ear to the ceiling in different parts of the apartment. Nothing. No sound. No movement. I knocked again, lightly, and instantly regretted it. That night, I set up my phone on video mode and aimed it at the ceiling while I slept on the couch. I kept the lights off, and the hallway door cracked open, just enough to catch anything strange. Around 2:13 a.m., the pacing returned. The phone caught the sound clearly, a slow scrape like skin or bare feet dragging across the floor above me. No furniture moving. Just walking. Pausing. Resuming. Then something new. A faint creaking. Not in the ceiling this time. From the hallway. I sat up and stared at the sliver of light beneath the front door. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, a shadow passed by. Not a person. Not clearly. Just a vague distortion like someone moving just behind the peephole. I waited until morning before checking the footage. The pacing was there, like before. But near the end of the video, something else happened. A whisper. Barely audible, but when I enhanced the volume, I could hear it. Downstairs now. He hears us. I didn't go to work that day. I didn't leave the apartment. I just sat at my desk, listening, watching. That night, something changed. At 2:12 a.m., the ceiling made a heavy sound, like something falling, followed by two distinct footsteps. Heavy, deliberate. Then, silence. And then my phone vibrated. A text message. No number. Just ceiling. That was it. Just that word. I stared at the screen, heart hammering. The air in the room felt colder now. Stagnant. Like something had seeped in while I wasn't looking. I stood on the stepladder again and reached up, pressing against the ceiling. And right in the center of the living room, almost perfectly hidden, I felt a faint draft. A seam. There was a square cut into the plaster. A hatch. No handle. No rope. Just a panel flush with the surface. I didn't sleep that night. I kept the lights on and held a kitchen knife in my hand like that would do anything. Around 3 a.m., the pacing started again. But it was no longer above me. It was inside the ceiling. I spent the next morning staring at the ceiling. That panel was new. Or maybe I had just never noticed it. But now that I had, I couldn't unsee it. I didn't have tools, just a kitchen knife and a broomstick. I poked at the edges, but it wouldn't budge. I even tried pressing gently in the center, but it felt solid, like something was holding it closed from the other side. I called Clayton again. Hey, Mr. Clayton. I think there's something wrong with the ceiling in my unit. There's a hatch or a panel or... Stop, he said. Don't open it. Don't try to. If you already did, I'm not responsible for what happens. What do you mean what happens? But he hung up. I tried calling again, but it went straight to voicemail. I knocked on his office door an hour later, and there was no answer. By the time I returned home, the hallway light outside my apartment had burned out. That night, I couldn't bring myself to sleep. I dragged my mattress into the kitchen, the farthest spot from the hatch, and lay under the harsh glow of a single overhead bulb. The ceiling creaked at 2:09 a.m. A soft, rhythmic sound like fingers brushing across drywall. Then, something tapped directly against the hatch. From the inside. I stared up, barely breathing. Another tap. Then a third, more forceful. The panel shifted. Just a few millimeters. Just enough to see the edge tremble. And then it stopped. The next morning, I bought a thermal imaging attachment for my phone. One of those cheap ones that plugs into the charging port. I aimed it at the ceiling, not expecting much. But when I scanned across the hatch, my breath caught in my throat. There was a heat signature. Faint, but unmistakably human-shaped. Knees pulled up the chest. Head bowed. Someone crouched inside the ceiling space, unmoving. I dropped the phone. I went outside for the first time in days, just to breathe. When I came back, the door to 6C was open. The padlock and chain were still dangling from the knob, hanging loose. The duct tape had been peeled off in a single, clean line, as if sliced with a razor. I should have called the police. I know that. But curiosity got the better of me. I stepped inside. The air was damp and stale. It smelled like rotting wood and old socks. The apartment was stripped bare, no furniture, no carpet, just dusty wooden floors and flaking paint. The walls were covered in marks. Scratches, tallies, gouges like someone had been keeping time. The windows were covered with thick black garbage bags duct taped along the edges. And in the corner of the living room, I found a pile of broken electronics, phones, radios, baby monitors, all cracked open and lined with teeth. Human teeth. Some stained. Some tiny. Some looked fresh. I backed out slowly, heart thudding. As I reached the hallway, I heard something behind me. A whisper. Close. Right next to my ear. Why are you in my room? I ran. I didn't lock the apartment. I didn't care. When I got back to 5C, my lights were off. All of them. I hadn't turned them off. On my phone, a new voicemail. Again, from my own number. Static. Then, it's too late. It knows your name now. I didn't leave my apartment the next day. I didn't shower. I barely ate. Every sound felt louder, closer, more personal, like the building was listening. Like the thing in the ceiling had moved deeper into the walls. Around 11 a.m., I found a folded piece of notebook paper slid under my front door. No envelope. No handwriting. Just a single typed sentence in faded ink. Stop acknowledging it. That night, the hatch opened. I didn't see it open, I heard it. A quiet, final click, like pressure releasing. When I looked up, the panel was ajar. Not wide open, just hanging there, like a mouth half full of breath. I stood below it for 20 minutes, frozen, and then something slid out. Not a face, not hands, a string, thin and black, dangling like a piece of wire or fishing line, swaying slightly as if someone had just released it. I didn't touch it. Instead, I backed into the bathroom, locked the door, and sat in the tub with a hammer. My phone had no service, no Wi-Fi, just a black screen and a battery that drained 1% every minute. At exactly 3:12 a.m., I heard the string being pulled back up. I called every number I could remember the next morning. Police, city records, even a local priest. Nobody answered. Or when they did, they seemed confused, dismissive, like I was speaking a different language. So I went to the local library and dug into the property archives. Here's what I found. Apartment 6C was sealed in 2011 after a tenant named Eric Sames was reported missing. He had filed repeated complaints about unauthorized noises from inside the ceiling. Maintenance workers investigated but found no access point. A week after the last complaint, he vanished. Door locked from the inside. Windows sealed. No sign of forced entry. The only strange note on the report: attic space does not exist on blueprint, but thermal scan suggests small cavity above 5C. My unit. When I got back, my front door was wide open. The hallway light was flickering again. Inside, the hatch was still ajar. And on my kitchen table, I found a drawing. It was crude, scratched into the surface with something sharp. A stick figure, standing beneath a hatch. Another figure above it, curled like a spider. And the words, in jagged letters: "We remember your face." I slept on the fire escape that night. It was cold, uncomfortable, and probably more dangerous than staying inside. But I couldn't be under that ceiling anymore. Around 2:30 a.m., I watched the lights flicker from the outside. Then I saw movement behind the curtains. Something tall, too tall, moving slowly from room to room like it was looking for something. At dawn, I found another voicemail. Same number. My number. This time, no static. Just my voice. Whispering, frantic. Don't speak to it. Don't let it touch you. Don't say its name. Then a pause. And then the sound of scraping wood. Something dragging. Followed by one last whisper. It's almost beneath you now. I didn't go back inside for nearly 12 hours. I wandered aimlessly through the city, phone off, hands shaking. I thought about sleeping at a bus station. I thought about checking into a hotel. But part of me knew this thing wasn't tied to the apartment anymore. It was tied to me, and I had made the mistake of acknowledging it. When I finally returned that evening, the building was too quiet. The door to 6C was open again, swinging gently like it had been waiting. A note was taped to the outside, scrawled in black Sharpie. He moved. You're upstairs now. I don't remember unlocking my door. I don't remember stepping inside. But I remember what I found. The hatch was gone. Not closed. Not ajar. Gone. As if the ceiling had never been disturbed. The light fixtures were working. My furniture was untouched. Everything looked normal. But it didn't feel normal. The air had changed. Heavier, more electric. Like the apartment was holding its breath. Like the walls knew I was back. I checked my phone. No messages. No voicemails. But I noticed something strange. My photo gallery had a new folder. It was labeled with a single. Inside, one image. A picture of me. Sleeping. From above. Taken at 2:12 a.m. I tried to leave, but the doorknob wouldn't turn. Not broken. Just stiff. Like it was part of the wall now. I hammered at it. Screamed. Kicked. Nothing. Until the door knocked back. Once. Then again. Rhythmic. Deliberate. I fell to the floor. I covered my ears. Then a voice. Right above me. Not loud. Inside my head. It lives beneath you now. I started tearing up the floorboards in desperation. In the center of the room, where the hatch used to be, the boards were different. Slightly darker. Newer. As if someone had sealed something below. I pried them up one by one. Bloodied my fingers. Tore the skin from my palms. Below the floorboards was a void. Not pipes. Not insulation. Just a black, square chamber no deeper than 4 feet. Like a coffin, cut directly into the bones of the building. And inside, my phone. A baby monitor. And a pair of eyes. They blinked. I screamed and fell back, hitting the wall behind me. The thing climbed out. Not fast. Not inhumanly. Just like it had done this before. like it had waited for me to open the floor for years. It stood taller than me. No face, but somehow familiar. Its skin was pale and cracked like drying paint. In place of a mouth, there was just a wide seam that slowly split open, revealing rows of dull, human teeth. And then my voice came out of it. Downstairs now. I hear you. I don't remember how long I was unconscious. Maybe hours. Maybe days. When I woke up, I was in apartment 6C. The walls were cleaner. The windows no longer sealed. But there were new scratch marks on the door. New gouges on the floor. And in the center of the room, a hatch. In the ceiling. It's sealed for now. But I hear pacing every night. And sometimes it knocks. I haven't knocked back. Not yet. But I've started talking in my sleep. And last night I answered.